All right, we can start.
All right, okay. So welcome everyone. Hello to all to this final venue of the Global Storytelling Festival, this Global Storytelling Showcase, organized by the Melton Foundation and Lighthouse Media Storytelling. I want to give a big thanks as well to our collaborators and partners, all remarkable storytelling organizations without which this venue or this month-long event would have not been possible. The Global Storytelling Festival, this great venue that we were organizing, started beginning in August. And through our activities and contests, 18 countries have been present throughout this month-long venue. So a big thanks to you as well, wherever you're joining from. And if you're watching, thank you so much for being part of this journey with us. So as we continue through this event, I want to invite you to share on social media what we're doing, share the fun, tweet, retweet, share on your Instagram stories, so we can all share the fun right here. And we hope that you will enjoy the showcase as much as we enjoyed organizing it. Of course, we haven't introduced ourselves yet. So this is me, I'm Camila Huecho. I will be your host through this venue. I'm the Lighthouse Media Storytelling co-founder. My partner in crime is Ashita Nayak. She's on the technical team right now, behind the camera. And Lighthouse Storytelling is an organization, a nonprofit organization that aims to connect the dots across borders through intercultural and global narratives. Also, this is our main partner organization, the Melton Foundation, and we have a representative right now today with us, which is Julian. Julian, if you want to quickly present the Melton Foundation to all our viewers right now.
Sure. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of you. My name is Julian Klauke. I am the current chair of the board of directors of the Melton Foundation. And the Melton Foundation is an organization, it's a nonprofit organization registered in the US that promotes and enables global citizenship as a way for individuals and organizations to address global challenges. So what we do, we were established about 30 years ago, and currently we're operating in 6 hubs all over the world, currently in Chile, China, Germany, Ghana, India, and the US. And what we really do is we develop, or we aim to develop, young change agents in a way for them to be effective and to be ethical leaders in the interconnected world and to together address global challenges. And we do that through a couple of different ways. We have 2 core flagship programs, which we call the Global Citizenship Learning Program for young, mostly students. It's a 1.5 to 2 year, very intensive program of experiential learning. We also have just piloted our Global Solvers Accelerator for more experienced SDG practitioners. And then we do activities and events like this. So I'm very, very excited to see this. We've also had climathons happening over the last year. And I think there's a lot of exciting ways for people within the network, but also with people outside the network to engage and together work on global challenges. So I'm very, very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to see the results of the Storytelling Festival. Enough said about the Melton Foundation. I'm honored to also introduce the keynote speaker, one of our co-founders, Patricia Smith. She is one of those people who is able to bring together arts and social change, work both on poetry, on filmmaking, on photography, but also she is the founder of Piece by Piece, which is an international organization that supports women peace builders and supports the work that women do in conflicts and in peace building all around the world. She has published books. She has directed an amazing movie on women on the front lines and how they contribute to peace all around the world. And without further ado, I think she's the perfect person to speak about stories and the impact that stories can have on change. So I'm really excited for her. Please, Patricia, take it away.
All right. Am I on? Hello?
Yes, you are on, Patricia. Go ahead.
Great. I'm so happy to be here. I cannot tell you. To be sort of reunited with the Melton Foundation after being away for about 11 years. It's very important to have backstory. You've probably discussed this in your storytelling, to know the characters, their lives before your story begins and where it and maybe after it will end in your story. So let me give you a little backstory right now. I am in a hotel in Rome, in a very uncomfortable place where I have my computer on top of a suitcase on top of a little table as we improvise the connection. So I'm in this very strange place of being reunited, but via hotel in Rome, when I actually live in Washington, D.C. 20 years ago, shy of 2 weeks, just 1 week after 9/11, I was in another hotel. And I woke up and the room seemed filled with this presence. And there was this big message across the room that said, bring knowledgeable, experienced women together to answer the question, what is peace? And how can women create it? And I thought, since the message was in my room, it probably had some relationship to me. So am I on live? Yes?
Yes, you are, Patricia. Yes.
Okay. So I did. I contacted women, a couple of women I knew and women I didn't know. I cold called an Afghan woman who for the last 10 years has been the director of the Red Crescent, the Red Cross in Afghanistan. She had not been back to Afghanistan in many, many years. She delayed her return there for another week in order to come to my home. I also contacted Isabel Allende, the author. I cold called Isabel. It's very difficult to get a hold of Isabel Allende. And she said, I'll be there. So I ended up with 5 women at my house sitting around a table. Amazing, brilliant, experienced women. I was very intimidated. I rented a round table and sat around this round table. And for 3 days, we recorded everything they said to answer this question. What is peace and how can women be empowered to bring it? Because particularly at that point, the voices of women were not heard. They came, we recorded. I thought there would be a book. I actually had sort of a book deal lined up. But when I presented the proposal afterwards to the book people, they said, oh, nobody's interested in communication between women. If you're going to bring peace, you have to do something very dramatic. You have to storm the Capitol or the White House. But what came out of our 3-day dialogue was what I call the 5 C's. Connection, communication, consciousness shift of individuals, critical mass, consciousness shifts within a family, within a group, within a nation, within the world. We're sort of at critical mass. Who knows? It's a bit fuzzy. When you look around, you're not so sure about that. But there are other signs of peacemaking. But this is it not, what the Melton Foundation is? Connection, communication, change of individuals' perspective, knowledge, experience, reaching a critical mass and then changing everything. That's the basis. And in a sort of way, it's the basis of every story. And everything, listen to this part carefully. Everything is a story. Everything. And everything has a backstory. And then there's something going forward. A story only ends and begins if it's told by a storyteller who decides here's where I'll begin and here's where I'll end. It's all a story. Everything. The little ant. I'll tell you a story later about an ant. But there is an ant. And that story's life is that ant's life is a story. Right now, out my window is the Colossus. The Colosseum, I'm sorry, the Colosseum. There was a Colossus there at one point, but there's the Colosseum of Rome. This is a big story. And right out my window, I look down on the area, the ruins, but you can still see everything delineated of where gladiators were trained. There was a school. So it wasn't just war prisoners that were gladiators, but poor people could come there, poor men could come there, because if you kept winning and winning and weren't killed, you could get a thumbs up and you could be reprieved and you become almost an honored citizen. How many thousands of stories are right outside my window right now. Every one of those lives, just as each of your lives here, now, listening, maybe drinking coffee, maybe, I don't know, this, that, or other, but we have our stories, and these stories are here. Everything is a story. So what is a story? My personal definition, well, I have several, but we'll start with one of them. One of them that is story is verbs connecting nouns. Okay? You have objects, and I'm going to give you some objects, including an ant. A young girl, a desert. This is a true story. Sheep, rain. There's some more objects that'll come later. The little ant came somewhat later. I know this woman. I met this woman in her early 20s. She was an organizer of Bedouin women in the Negev desert in Israel. She's a dear friend. Her name is Amal. By the time she was 6.5, she was sent out in the mornings to check on the sheep from overnight. Are they all there? Do they need to be moved from one place to another? That was her job. When she was about 7.5, 8 years old, she was out, and you're in this desert. Suddenly comes this incredible rain, a torrent of rain. And there was a rock structure that she could kind of take some shelter in. And there was so much rain that there was a little stream that began right in front of her. And there was a book, another story, floating by her. Just happened to be the biography of Nelson Mandela. So this girl who could not read grabs the book and realizes she needed to go to school. She needed to learn how to read. So by the time she's 8 years old, she's convinced her father, who was not approving of this idea, that she should go to school. So then she started checking on the sheep before the sun came up so she could walk some distance to school. On her way back, she would stop under a tree and do her homework and her reading, because when she got back to their tent, she would have more work to do. By the time she was in her mid-teens, she was teaching the other Bedouin women how to read. And she was organizing the women. Why? Because she could read the book. And she learned that if you're a leader, people follow. If you're a true leader, people follow. So she would experiment with ants. She would find the line of ants. She would find the head ant. She would nudge him over to another direction, nudge her over to another direction, bisexual ant, Lord knows, in another direction. And everybody followed. They went where the leader followed. She decided she would be a leader. This woman, I discovered only 2 months ago. I'd had no contact for a decade. I discovered 2 months ago, she is now teaching at the John F. Kennedy School of Public Policy at Harvard. The book, reading, education, connection. She's powerful, she's beautiful. It's all a story. And why did she contact me? Because her biography is being written, and they needed for the cover photograph of the book, a photograph I had done of her a decade ago in a book called 60 Years, 60 Voices, with 30 Israeli women and 30 Palestinian women. Their photographs, their biographies, and interviews with them, their stories, all their individual stories, it's all made up of stories. And she was one of these incredible women. They liked the photograph, so I had to hunt up the photograph, and now it would be in another book. Stories, stories, stories. So I'm looking at my notes here. I didn't really prepare anything, but I look at my notes. It is your, a story, fiction, well, fiction of history, nonfiction, of course, in some way can all be considered backstory. It's presented as facts, whether true or not, because nothing's totally true. That's written. And so it's facts, so it's a bringing back of the story, presenting it with perhaps the opinions of the author. And fiction, of course, you make things up. You make things up for a story, but you cannot lie. These are two different things. What is lying? Lying is when you're clever for the sake of being clever. Lying is, of course, when you're just imitating someone because you like their style. You can practice that way. But when you write the story, when you write your story, it has to come from here. It has to be in line with your integrity. You can only do that if you know who you are. And sometimes, I know when I was your age, hold on, my phone is doing some dumb thing. I wasn't always sure who I was, and I've changed. Each decade has its own Patricia. The current Patricia is an author. I have a book that was recently launched, and I'll tell you more about that later because it really fits in. It's about integrity, knowing your own integrity. You know. You can tell in your body and your mind and emotions when you are faking it, when you're off center. Now, sometimes when I was your age, I might not, it took practice. It took practice. I think, stories can be conveyed in so many ways: dance, paintings. For me, the most authentic story are the paintings in the caves, the ancient caves in Europe, the caves of Lascaux, the bison, the deer, the wild horses, an occasional woolly mammoth.
I'm sorry, we have 2 minutes left.
Thank you. That's good. That's authenticity. We may not be able to read the story. We may not know if that story is about praising, thanking, praying for more. But we know that story. We feel its authenticity. And that's what you have to find and what you have to express. So I do want to show you this book. I feel like a promoter here. It's called Compliments, Eloquence of Small Objects. It's a book of photographs and writing that I did with it. Just here's for example. What I did is I took, you were shaking your head, yes? I'm going to show another story. Here's some fish stories. This is the map of the blueprint of the Titanic. I took small objects, the truth and integrity of small objects, and put them together. Each object has its story. Put 2 or 3 objects together, you got a larger, more intricate, more complex story. put words with it, it becomes even more interesting and a bigger story. It's all a story. See it, find what's relevant for you, make up the words if you want, but keep them authentic. And I'll close with that. Thank you so much for honoring me by asking me to be here. Finito. From Italia, from Roma.
Thank you so much to you, Patricia. Yes, for being here and for blessing this venue with your keynote. Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And as Patricia said, there are many, many ways in which you can find storytelling in the world, and it's all around us. Stories are all around us. So I just want to go ahead and share my screen again, because as we continue on the showcase, we go on story time. We in this venue have gathered many, many storytellers from all over the world who use storytelling in different ways to convey messages, to pass on heritages, to teach, to keep your mental health, to connect, and most importantly, to keep learning from each other. This is a huge mashup of storytellers just telling stories in many, many different ways all over the world that we want to share with you today. So first online, we have Harshini Rajkumar, who is a spoken word artist who is right here. I want to pass on the mic to her. So Harshini, are you here?
Yes.
Yes, so Harshini is going to present to us spoken word storytelling. Harshini, if you would.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Harshini Rajkumar. I'm a Melton Fellow from Bangalore, India. And today I'm going to perform a spoken word piece, which I call A Broken Roadmap to Self-Love. And here's how it goes. As a kid, I traced lines over newspapers to recreate faces, copy expressions. I saw myself doing the same at home, drawing lines over emotions my parents left in every room. A frown for a frown, a smile for a smile, and I'd deeply indent the lines on my face. But if you've ever drawn on newspapers, you know how fragile they really are. There's only so many times you can scribble before you're left with tears and holes you can no longer fix. I started drawing my roadmap on torn canvases because no one taught me how to make them. I used to look myself in the mirror, but really never beyond fixing, flyaways, acne, spectacles, and away from my eyes. I did the same with everyone I met. Triangulation, look at the nose tip, the left ear, the right ear, and it looks like confidence, but it just misses the target. And for days when triangles look like spears pointing at me, I'd look at feet, curled up, misdirected, and fidgety. But this time, I would actually move slowly but carefully around craters of confrontational words that I just couldn't say. You see, I follow a torn map. You often can't tell the difference between origins and destinations. Not all origins begin with zeros. Some are negative numbers that seem large but aren't always wins. I grew up with a false sense of independence, interpreting extra wheels as a sign of weakness. Look, you can travel every journey in multiple ways, except I could never be a hitchhiker stretching my hand out hoping for help. Hope is a North Star if you believe in finding direction, but I was never a true traveler. But you want to know that comfort fueled my stagnation. There's only so many creases and folds you can read as roads before you reach a dead end. And you don't have to fill words under your own name. The common opinion becomes vocal navigation. My identity was an empty vessel, and so my skin colored with the words of others. You don't set out to find a new home if your current isn't burning, if your landlord hasn't kicked you out, except I'm the landlord forcing myself to stay in the same house that resembles burnt wood before it turns to dust. It took me years to realize that I don't need a map of my own, especially when my sense of direction is lacking, and that I can follow the tracks of travelers that resemble me. They used to say the hardest thing to learn in life is which bridge to burn and which to cross. But every bridge I wish to cross is guarded by an old troll, my ego and my inner voice. I can never seem to know the answers to their questions. I then started to carry the words of my friends and the voices and repeated affirmative words like they were prayers even though they seem like a religious scripture I would never read. And then I painted my skin with caressing touches. When you realize you don't have to hitchhike to find help, kindness becomes a travel guide. You forget that you once viewed start points as the end, and that you do have to move to see the world beyond a weak flame. This time, I pulled out a mostly empty map that I could finally draw on, even though they were shaky lines. I drew paths on mountains and valleys, bridges across rivers, only to come back to the same burning house, except this time I brought back enough sand and water to feed a burning fire. Thank you.
That was so beautiful, Hashini. Yes, claps to you, silent claps to you. Yes. So thank you so much, Hashini, for being here. Thank you so much for your presentation. It is marvelous to, yeah, exactly, share this with you. We will move on to the next artist today, which is Dave Graham, Director of Stories for Change UK. We have him here right now, and before presenting the stories of his organization, I would like to give him a space to talk about what he does and what Stories for Change does in the world. So Dave, are you here?
I'm here, yes. Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, please go ahead.
Great, thank you. My name's Dave Graham, and I run a social enterprise called Stories for Change. I'm based in the UK. I guess I wanted to start firstly by saying thank you to Melton Foundation and Lighthouse for inviting me to do this. It's a real privilege and honour to be involved. And also congratulations to all the people who got involved in the competition. As a judge, I've been through all the stories that were put forward, and there's a lot of really powerful and really impressive narratives there. And it was a real challenge to do that in so few words. So I thought that was really, really impressive. So well done to everyone who got involved. And I guess, I wanted to say, since I've been asked to get involved in this, I've been thinking a lot about stories and storytelling and how integral stories are to our lives and everybody's lives. You know, everyone's life in itself is a story. And within that life story, there are so many different narrative threads and smaller versions of that story. And that's real life. And then you've also got films and music, and every song that you hear tells a story. Every film that you watch tells a story. So really our whole lives are colored by stories. And that's human, and that's who we are, and that's what we do. And that goes for everybody, and everybody's got their own story. So it's when you really start thinking about it, it's actually amazing how much of our lives is wrapped up in stories without you even realizing it. Around the way I use storytelling in my life at the moment is through Stories for Change, which I set up in 2018. And we use powerful emotive storytelling to raise awareness of different issues. So we film the stories of people who've been affected by issues such as homelessness and food poverty and the refugee crisis. And we want to cover many more issues too. And we share these stories on our social media platforms. And we plan to build a community of people who care about these stories and care about these issues, and who will watch and share them and talk about them. And the idea really is to raise as much awareness as we can of these issues, hopefully to ignite conversation and inspire some change. We believe that by people becoming more aware of these issues and helping humanize these issues, that we can bring about positive change and make a real difference. And we're seeing that already with the stories that we've shared so far. So we're capturing and releasing real human stories, which are incredibly powerful. They really resonate and they paint a picture of what the world is like today. So and we work with small charities around the UK, and by working with these charities, we help raise awareness of what they do, and we make them stronger. We enable them to help more people in their communities. The stories that go online means that more people are aware of what these charities are doing, it means that more people who need help know about these charities and can go and find them. So it makes a real difference, and it's completely changed my life by getting involved in Stories of Change. Before that, I was working in the music industry, producing music videos, and then the advertising industry, producing TV commercials, and now to work on Stories of Change is completely blown my mind about what's possible with the power of stories. And how you can take your skills that you acquired over the years of working on, as I said, TV commercials and music videos, and put that into practice, working with charities and helping people tell their stories. And it's an amazing thing, and one that I hope I can continue to do for a long time. And I think we're about to show a video next of it's a kind of an overview of Stories for Change that will give you an idea of who we are and what we do. And there's a few snippets in there of some of the stories that we told too. So
I will now present the video. Is that okay?
cool.
And this is why society can't judge some of the homeless people that are here, because if you're already feeling hopeless and you've got all these days and no one's willing to give you a chance to work and change and prove that you can be different, I mean, if we fail, we should be given another chance, because if that's it, then what's the point in carrying on? What's the point in trying to strive?
We thought me and my sister telling the story would help young girls, would help people who are struggling every day to appreciate what they have, because we didn't know what we had until we lost it. Why'd you leave me?
Not having fresh food, or not having enough food in general, there was some serious impacts on my health. So yeah, I really wasn't in good condition.
'Cause all I want is, and all I need is to find somebody. I was working in a call centre. Everything was going great. Everything was going spot on. Found out that I was going to be made homeless. I'd heard the bad news from social services that they couldn't help us. Every time I rang up each council, each borough, asking them for help, they would sort of say, well, it's not our problem. Like you. I rang Sunderland, they say it's not our problem, you're originally from Newcastle, ring them. Ring Newcastle, but you're living in Durham at the minute, ring them. Nobody would take responsibility for me. All I want and nothing more is to see you now.
The poetry book is really important to me. My long-time foster parent, who I got really attached to, used to read the poems to me when I was 5 or 6 years old before I'd go to sleep every night. I can still hear her voice in my head. It brings back comfort. It brings back the love, the warmth that I felt there. And at times, that's all I have got.
Died a little bit inside, and I lay in tears in bed all night, alone without you by my side. But if you love me, why'd you leave me?
to me now, happiness is completely different to what it would have been 2 years ago. I think when you've lost almost everything that you've got left over, that's all you need.
To find somebody, find somebody.
So you might as well be who you are and be happy.
Like you. Like you.
So I hope that played okay. Hope you could all hear it and see it. So yeah, that gives you an overview of Stories for Change, as well as the small charities. We also work with brands and organisations who help fund the work that we do. And long may it continue. It's really having a really kind of positive impact out there in the UK, and we hope eventually we can move outside the UK and work globally too in other countries. So we've got big ambitions, and yeah, storytelling is a really powerful thing, and you can really see that in the work that we've done. So that's us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
So much. And in other organizations helping make change through storytelling, we have Lidon. Perfect. I don't know what, just, can you see my screen? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Oh, okay, perfect, perfect. So, perfect. Thank you so much for the patience. So in other organizations that are working with storytelling to make change in the world, but in quite a different way, we have Fundación Lidon from Cuenca, Ecuador. We have them also in this meeting if you want to come up and say a few words to present this beautiful organization.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation to being here. We are Lidon Foundation in English. My name is Emilia Acurio. And my friends will present themselves.
Hi, my name is Lisa Elena, and I'm very happy to participate in this festival. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
And my name is Manantial. Mana is shorter, and I wanted to tell you a little bit more about Lidon, who we are. We call ourselves Lidonas, which is like the connection with that. We are an arts and social foundation here in Cuenca, and we work through connect with kids and their families through the scenic arts, literature, and now board games. Yeah, we're working with that as well. But what I wanted to share with you is we started in 2016. And what happened to us in the 2020, in the COVID situation, is that everyone was locked down and we had no opportunity to connect with kids because we always do it in like face to face, right? So we were like literally hopeless. And it was June of 2020, and we said, okay, we have to do something. This is going to work along. This is going to get through with it. And we started telling stories to kids through Facebook Live, like really simple. And in Cuentos Lidoneros, which is like Lidonero story time, started as a way to connect with kids and their family through Zoom, through this now virtual situation. And for us, for me, for Ligia, and for Emilia, it literally as an we like grow so much, we connected so much with each other and with the kids, and the stories that we tell, they are always like we feminism or gender, migration, human rights, mental health, and whatever we need.
We can hear you, don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, my mic is not working. Yes. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you is that the way that the stories change our lives as a foundation, as an organization, is that the thing that has connected us the more. And we also connect with the kids, you know, so we start growing, and this is us in our characters. And the second thing that is really important that changes is that everything that we did as Lidon before, we were always in the back. We were always connecting another artists and make them perform and connecting with that. And so now we are like in the front, so it's a new thing for us as well. And also for the presentation that we're gonna share today in Melton, we're gonna tell a story that is created by one of us, by Emilia and her brother. So for us it's really important because we have always tell stories from other people. And so now we're really excited to share this with you. Also, English is not our first language, so sometimes we get a little bit confused, but we did the best we can. So we're really excited to be here. And I think we started with this in 2020 of June, and now it's like September of 21, and so much thing has happened. So I'm really, really excited to share with you and to be here. It's a real honor.
Thank you so much, Mana, Emilia, and Ligia. Lena. So I will go on to the presentation, which is an example of what Lidon does on their daily work. Off we go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever you are. This is amazing.
There we go.
So, I'm going to tell a story for Mr. Monstro and Calamidades and for everyone that's hearing us right now. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready? Yeah?
Yes. Super ready.
Are you okay?
Yes, of course.
So, this story, it's called The Country of the Sun. This was a country ruled by the shadow, where everything was gray, sad, and dark. The children that lived there, they had to work all day. They didn't even have time to play. They didn't eat as much as they needed, so they didn't have enough strength or energy for anything fun.
No.
They didn't even go to school.
They should be going to school.
Yeah, but they didn't go to school, so no reading or writing existed in that country. And you know what is worse? Shadow wouldn't let them to have friends. They couldn't be friends with each other. It wasn't really bad. But you know, because of the kids, they are really brave. They started to wonder, and they start talking between them in whispers. They said many things, but one of them was this question: is this all right? Who is that shadow, and why is it decided what can we do or we cannot do?
Why?
Wondering what is happening here. One little girl one day she found a small thing. It looked like a stone, like a really small stone, but it was nicer. Because in this country, it was forbidden to ask any questions. She put it in her pocket and filled it with dirt so no one could see. It was hidden forever. But after some days, the stone had grown some legs. like my legs. But what? Because it was seen as seen from trees or plants or flowers or grass, you know. So he showed the seed with those legs to all of the children in that country. The days passed, and the children that planted that seed, they were expecting the seed to grow as a tree. But nothing happened. No. It stopped growing. Why? So one big chubby boy decided that maybe what it needs is light. So they called the sun. And he, with all his wisdom, explained to the children that as all living beings, plants needed warmth and protection from the sun, water from the river, and also they needed love. Plants also need love. They need water too. What? We need water too, yes. We need water too. Yeah, and as plants and children and love and sun and protection, we need water, we need food, we need protection, we need love, we need warmth. So the kids decided to go to the river, they take the water, and they start growing. So the plant got water from the river, warmth and light from the sun, and love from the children, and it grew strong and big. It got to be a huge tree full of green leaves. Guess what? This was the only tree on this great country. The sun that got really to get to know the kids and the children in that place, in that country, decided to stay. So the shadow had no other option to leave that country. Bye-bye, shadow. No, come back. Never come back. No, never jamás. Never jamás. And that tree that grew like really big because it had the water and the warmth and the love, it started spreading some other seeds. So that country stopped from being a really gray and shadowish country to be a full green with a lot of leaves and plants and
colorful, because plants are colorful.
And colorful, yeah. Plants can be really colorful. Here in Ecuador, we have really colorful plants. That's really interesting. So right now, in that country, the children can smile. They can eat as much as they need. They can live with their families. They can go to school.
Oh, that's important.
Their illnesses are cured on time, and best of all, they have enough time to play.
Oh, that's nice.
¿Fueron felices para siempre? Yes, they were happily ever after.
I like that.
But you know what I like to happen? Those children decided to tell this story to every country, in every world, in every galaxy. So first, the shadow cannot be in any place.
Never jamás.
Never jamás. And also for all of us to know that we all need water, we all need love, we all need food, we all need warmth and love from each
everyone.
Just nice plants, just So that's the story that I wanted to tell you.
I like it.
You can follow us on social media. We are Festival Lidon Lidon.
Thank you for the invitation.
Mostly in Spanish, but you can follow us.
There you have it. Thank you, Lidon Lidon, for being here with us today. You can follow them on social media as well. They're from Ecuador. And we're going to move now on to our next storyteller. Just give me a second. Just a quick second over here. So this time we have one of our collaborators on the meeting. We have Henrika Muthoni Amoafo, I'm sorry. Henrika, are you here? She's part of Connect World Ghana, and she's going to share with us the work of storytelling there in this organization. Henrika, are you here?
I am. Hello, can everyone see me, hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you perfectly, yeah.
I'm so happy to be here. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to the Lighthouse team and the Melton Foundation for bringing us all together to really celebrate storytelling in this way. I think it's fantastic. And also just to thank the other partners for the incredible work you do and the leadership in providing these spaces for us to tell these important stories, whether it's about poverty and homelessness and racism and sexism, all the things that we face. I think these spaces are incredibly important to have. So thank you for all the work that you do. And, for all of us, we're all walking through the world telling and writing our own stories, being part of other people's stories as well. And there's a lot of understanding and misunderstanding that can happen when we share this. And again, I'm just really grateful for this space to share. And so at Connect World, what we do is facilitate storytelling as well. We are a learning and development organization. And we like to hold these spaces because we understand how valuable telling stories is. And we do this through mentoring and training sessions and storytelling as well. So whether it is via webinars or clubhouse conversations, we provide a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction always. And we're really hoping that people will, through their storytelling, learn that they are equipped, that they have all the value they already need to navigate the world and wherever they find themselves. And while we were reading the stories, I really enjoyed everybody's story. And it was incredibly interesting to see how each of the submissions interpreted gaps differently, interpreted culture differently, interpreted, just interculturalness and what it means to be a global citizen and to be a person in the world communicating across boundaries. So all the storytellers did a fantastic job. And, for the winners, I will not say who, they did an incredible job as well. And so, yes, this is what we do at Connect, whether we are training you in your organization, whether we are having a clubhouse call, whether we are having one-on-one mentoring sessions, which is really at the root of everything that we do. We're always storytelling. And so I'm very honored to be part of this conversation. And I hope everybody will keep writing, keep telling their stories, whether it is in competitions, whether you won or not, don't stop writing, keep telling those stories. And yes, I'm definitely excited for the winners to be announced and to keep collaborating with all these other organizations and with all the people who submitted as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Henrika. So moving on as well, thank you so much for this introduction of Connect World Ghana. You can also follow them on social media at the end of this showcase. Following up with the last presentation of this venue, we have our dear storyteller, Kwabena Tumasi Ankra. Are you here, Ankra? It's going to be the ribbon of the showcase right now. Yes.
I am. I didn't know I was the last person, but yeah. Anyway, after listening to all these amazing stories, there's no pressure at all. There's no pressure at all. Okay, Camila. Yeah, so what do I do? Do I introduce myself and then move on to what I have to say?
Yes, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right, great. Hello, everyone. My name is Kwabena Chumesi Ankara, but I prefer just being called Ankara. I'm the co-founder for Divergent, a social and business innovation firm pioneering a new way in design thinking to solve African problems through communicating a universal human language. I realized very early during my days growing up as a child, because I grew up in a lot of abuse, that I could speak a different language. And it struck me that everyone else actually spoke this language without realizing it. No, I'm not talking about English, nor Chi, nor French, nor Hindi, nor Hausa. I'm talking about speaking without words. And I could understand others without the need for them to utter the words either. Now, for this session, I would like each and everyone to be focusing on my voice and not on my face. Hence, I want everyone to be on video, and then I would rather go. Hence, I want everyone to be on video, and then I would rather go off video, if you do not mind, for this session.
Yes, perfectly.
All right. Great, let me check. I'm just inspecting to make sure everyone is. If I see your eyes open, I'll call you out. Okay, great. Everyone is. Now, I want everyone to breathe in deeply with your eyes opened and just hold it and then breathe out. Now, I want you to close your eyes. These stories you're about to hear are true, and they are me basically uncovering myself to you and how my experience is a definition of why human beings speak just one language. Do you remember the first time you had an orgasm? I do. I felt my eyes water, my abdominal cavity quiver, and my toes curl so tightly they cracked. Do you remember the first time you realized you are in love? I do. I felt a rush of heat and cold at the same time, butterflies floating in my spine, and my libido ever rise so highly I choked. Do you remember the first time a loved one died? I do. I felt my heart split into pieces, my knees giving up on my weight, and a breathing cessation to a degree I froze. Do you remember the first time you nearly died? I do. I felt my soul rise, my mind going back into time with those who most dearly to me coming up in my memory, and a monstrous regret of how much I wish I could just spend one more second with them to let them know how much I love them. It taught me to pay attention to those who mattered and to those who should matter. Do you remember the first time you were depressed? I do. I had just gotten out of a coma to realize that I had missed my junior year's second semester exams, since apparently I had been unconscious from the 25th of February 2018 to the 15th of May 2018, hence had to be deferred for a year. I cursed myself. Why me? I felt my tummy drop into my gut so deep, and a cloth of shame enwrapped me so tight. My self-worth slashed into 8.5 parts. Wait, the half. That was my worth's remainder, not the 8. And what remained? I felt like a failure. I felt like a loser. I felt like a pariah, a subject for pointy fingers and sharp tongues to butcher, a subject to scorn so degrading I wish the earth passed into two to swallow me up whole. Do you remember the first time you were suicidal? I do. I was 8. and felt so abused and defiled to the point that as I watched the corn I took to the cornmeal come out in fine grains. I wish I could jump into the crater so I get grounded also into human flesh of grains. Then perhaps I'll be worth something of use. Do you remember the first time you were happy? I do. The air felt so minty fresh in my lungs, and a hush of serenity trickled down from my crown to my soles, and a tear of breathtaking relief that relieves me of my hidden grief. Do you remember the first time you were betrayed? I do. I felt my skin crawl and my petals shake, giving way to a spasm from an adrenaline rush so fast I trembled. Do you remember the first time a member of the opposite sex showed intimate interest in you? I do. My heart Nicodemously palpitated, my stomach dropped, and my guts churned. My palms and feet moistened, so wet, I felt I almost peed. Do you remember the first time you were anxious? I do. I stood in front of the Agri Chapel in Achimota School here in Ghana in my high school days and sang in a wrong note. Everyone burst into laughter. I swore never to sing again afterwards. Although it's a gift of mine, I grew to detest it because after all, it let me down. My anxiety was probably right. Or am I right by wrong? The irony. Do you remember the first time you realized everyone you know is going to die? I do. It made me wake up to the fact that my time of showing those precious people my love is limited. Hence, all I have is the present, which is also a meaning that the present is a gift. Ha! The present is a gift to cherish. The present is a gift to be grateful for. Do you remember? Do you? Do you? I do. The feelings you are feeling right now, believe you me, I also feel them. That is when the walls come down. The walls of something as accidental as blood. The walls as stale as our family name, our ethnic group, our towns, cities, regions, countries, sub-region, continental, global, space, hush. There is no gravity here. That is when the walls of violence, the deeds of flawed men from the past, still holding the necks of those in the realm of the present. The melancholy in my sadness is to the degree of Shakespearean proportions, to the very dividing line of my bone marrow. Ha! How hollow and shallow. There is a rhyme. As global citizens, we don't go by the barriers of accidentals and coincidences. We go by something much stronger. The universal human language of feelings and emotions that ripples through time. My heart is beating and my hands are shaking. And I feel tears welling up at the corners of my eyes. But I'm talking to you. I'm talking about you. No, you, the one talking, the one listening to me right now. I'm talking to you. No, not the other person you want to think about, not the other places your mind want to wander. It is you. You. That feeling, huh? Almost hypnotizing. Almost as though your mind has sunk into a still lake that runs deep into the foggy pathways of your soul. That's where we are whole. That's where we are human. That's our identity. Like Patricia Smith said in the beginning of this entire storytelling, that everything is a story. But one thing that she didn't add was that stories are feelings. That is our language as humans. Not what you speak, but what you feel behind the words you say. Humans living in a sacred shared space and who need to become aware that they are, take responsibility, and then fucking act upon it. Wait, I'm not done. But we are late, so let's talk later. You can follow our organization Divergent on Instagram and Twitter at Dive Out and dive__out respectively. Thank you. That's the end of this storytelling.
Whew, that was heavy on me. Thank you so much, Anka, for accepting this invitation. And yes, for blessing this showcase with these reflections that are very important to remember, I must say. Feelings are our universal language, because at the end of the day, as different as we are still human, and feeling joy and pain and grief and love is what really connects us all, and what has really helped connect cultures across history. That's why, following that line as well, during the Global Storytelling Festival, we have held a mini story contest aiming to call out storytellers across the world to share feelings and share the experiences that makes us human, that makes us us, that can also spark reflection, that can also spark change, and the good things about us that connects us. And so I want to move on to this venue as well, the final venue of this event, which is the award announcement of the mini-story contest. It's our drum roll. So we are going to announce the winner announcements. And for this announcements, I have Patty Ortiz and Vigneshwar, who are going to be our winner presenters today. Patty and Vigneshwar, can you hear me?
Hi, Camila. Yes.
Yes, yes. So Vigneshwar, you can go first, announcing third and second place of the mini-story contest.
All right. In third place is a story about one's identity and heritage. It is titled My Grey Skin by Dhillon Bana from South Africa.
So I don't know if Dhillon Bana is hearing us right now on the live stream, but we will contact all of the winners. Yay! With their prizes, and to congratulate them as well. So congratulations, Dhillon Bana, whenever you are.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to the man.
All right. In second place is a story of hope in the face of great difficulty. It is titled A Promise from the Skies by Lalita A.R. from Bangalore, India.
Congratulations, Lalita. Wherever you
Congratulations to
are.
Lalita.
Yes. And now we have Patty Ortiz from the Melton Foundation as well to present our last and first winner of the mini-story contest this year.
Thank you, Cami. Hello, everyone. I'm Patricia Ortiz, Director of Operation of the Melton Foundation, and it's a pleasure for me today to announce the winner of the mini-story contest. This is a story with the title Tug of War, a story about two boys finding common ground in a cricket match. And the winner is Advita Sengupta from Bombay, India. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Adita, wherever you are, if you're watching. And also we have not a winner exactly, but a final mention, right? A final mention to a person that has been present throughout the Global Storytelling Festival, who also participated in the mini-story contest, and we just could not leave her out of this venue. So last but not least, we have our special mention, Yellow Lilies from Antonia Patricia Herrera Beas from Lampa, Chile. So congratulations to all 3 winners and to our special mention as well. These stories and the 25 first selected will be available on Lighthouse social media as well, with all the material and beautiful stories that we have shared throughout this venue. So thank you very much for being part of this showcase. Thank you very much for being part of the Global Storytelling Festival of the Melton Foundation and Lighthouse Media Storytelling as well. With this, I want to close this final event. I want to thank all of you here today. I want to thank all the viewers in the live stream. You can find all the information, all the stories, all that we have shared through our social media and in the Melton Foundation social media. You can share with us whatever impressions that you had through our YouTube live channel, through social media as well. And please stay on the loop for the many, many activities that we will hold by the end of 2021 and next year as well. If you're interested to produce stories with us, you can also contact us on the links that you see on screen. And see you soon, and thank you very much for joining us today. Just unmute yourself to say a big thank you and goodbye to all your viewers. Thank you very much for joining us today.
For having me. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.